Good afternoon. Cigar review number 22, the Gurkha Symphony. This review is mostly going to be me ranting about Gurkha and about this cigar. So this is a Toro. It's a 6-inch 50 ring gauge cigar. It's called the Symphony. The way that this particular cigar came about and became labeled as Gurkha is it initially just had the silver band on it. A few guys were on the golf course. Someone said, "Whoa, what kind of cigar is that?" And they tried to read this little writing and they couldn't. So they emailed Gurkha and say, "Hey, we can't read it. Label this thing." So Gurkha slaps the giant Gurkha label on it, and that's how it became an official Gurkha cigar. It's not great. Let me talk a little bit more about Gurkha, the brand, and then I'll come back to this cigar. A little history. All right, so Kazid is Hanasota, and again, I'm not Indian, so I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I think it's Kazid or Kazad Hansodia in 1990 in Goa bought the rights to this. He owned a duty-free shop. He bought the rights for a couple $100 from someone selling Gurkha branded cigars. Initially, they were only available in duty-free shops. He then transitioned to really only being available on tobacconists. So this is early 90s. They go from 200,000 cigars a year, and now they make over 3 million a year today. A Gurkha, actual word Gurkha refers to a Indian or Nepal, specifically Nepal, troop member that is fighting for the British Army. Right? So you had Gurkhas in the British military. During that time, again, this is a long time ago, not in the 90s. A long time ago, when the Brits had colonized India, Pakistan, Nepal, etc., they had really luxurious officers' quarters, and basically clubs, right? Officers' clubs. And they designed these clubs in these foreign lands to mimic home, right? So think Victorian smoking rooms, Persian rugs, oil paintings, whatnot. And he said that he wanted to provide an atmosphere with a cigar, opulent cigar that basically matched that atmosphere. Some of his cigars have definitely done that. So that's Gurkha. That's how they came about. The other thing that they do that annoys the heck out of me is they take normal cigars, right? Average cigars, not great cigars, average cigars, sometimes good cigars, and then they package them in boxes that are made out of mahogany, ivory, unicorn horn, whatever. And then they sell this crap for, what equates to, $200 a cigar. Or more. You have people paying $100,000 for a box of Gurkha cigars. It's insane. You're buying a box. And the brand knows this. And they say, well, people will keep the boxes forever. Really? I mean, I guess. To me, that's kind of like having, a Rolexus, right? A Lexus full of Rolexes. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But that's what they do. They get kind of average cigars and package them up to be too expensive. That being said, Gurkha makes some great cigars. You probably think I hate Gurkha at this point. I don't. Some of my favorite cigars I've ever had have been Gurkha. I used to be a giant fan. The local cigar store had 5 packs of Gurkha. I would buy them every week. Gurkha 15 year. They make up some amazing cigars. The Andalusian Bull is probably the best cigar I've ever had, but really some of those Gurkhas, they're in the top few. They make great cigars. That being said, they also make some crappy cigars. And that's really frustrating, right? If I go and buy a Monte Cristo, Romeo, Portegas, whoever, right? I know it's going to be at least decent. I know it's not going to be bad. I cannot say that for Gurkha. I bought a box of cigars. I think they were called Orange Label. I haven't reviewed them officially yet, but I've smoked several. They're the worst cigar I've ever had in my life. I mean, they're terrible. They are terrible. They're so bad that I couldn't even give them to someone that hasn't smoked a cigar before, because even they would know, like, oh, this is bad, right? I mean, I can't even think of an alcoholic equivalent aside from maybe wine that just been like left in the hot sun for weeks. Is bad. So they run the gamut from quality to not. This particular cigar, we'll come back to this, Gurkha Symphony. Initially, it was burning pretty unevenly. It's fixed itself. The draw's okay. It's very, 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 very mild and mellow. I'm quite certain I could smoke 3 of these and I wouldn't feel anything. That being said, it's not great. Initially, when I was smoking it, there was a hole, like it looked like it was shot with a pellet gun in the cigar after I started smoking it. Like it just wasn't evenly filled. Also, tasting notes wise, I get vanilla, which is great. Like I like the vanilla, but it's almost vanilla like the way a flavored cigar would be vanilla. The other note that I keep getting is pool chlorine. This smells like a pool in the middle of the summer, which I like going to pools, but I'm not gonna sit there and drink the pool water. So that's it. That's cigar review number 22, right? Gurkha Toro Symphony. Not a great cigar. I would say I missed this one. If you have the opportunity to buy it, unless it's under $3, don't buy it. It's mild. It has very little flavor. It seems to be incredibly poorly made, and unfortunately, this is a strikeout for Gurkha. This is not a great cigar. Thank you. That's Cigar Review 22.